Hello and welcome to the Supercast. I'm your host, Superintendent Anthony Godfrey. It is a fun before-school program fostering curiosity and creativity in students at Eastlake Elementary School. On this episode of the Supercast, we hear from members of the Young Poets Society and have them read some of their original works. It is a society sparking a strong passion and appreciation for reading and writing poetry. We're here with the Young Poets Society at Eastlake Elementary School. Tell me your name and what grade you're in.
My name's Ellie, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name's Shayla, and I'm in 6th.
My name is Jenna, and I'm in 6th.
Tell me, what is it that you love about poetry? Why did you want to be part of this group?
I think writing poetry is just really fun. It's kind of calming. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Ellie, and it's like a nice way to get your emotions out without getting angry or sad at something.
I also like how you can, when you read it, it kind of just flows out of your mouth, kind of soothingly.
The best poems do. Now, do you guys read and write poetry as a part of this group? Tell me a little bit about what activities you're involved in with this group.
Mainly we write poems, but occasionally we read the poems to understand how we write them so we can do it better and more effective.
So you're learning from other authors.
Mm-hmm.
How about for you? What are the activities that stand out for you from this group?
I like how sometimes even when we will write poetry, but there's also a ton of different kinds of poetry. Like we'll do blackout poetry where we just color in some of the other words and you can read the words that aren't colored in and it forms a poem.
Oh, so you start with a poem and black out some of the words to make your own creation? Is that how that works?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. How about for you? What are some of your favorite activities with this group?
We used a colored pencil on black paper, and we wrote down personification.
Tell me about personification.
Use onomatopoeias. We also make things that aren't like people or animals have people like things, I guess.
Can
Traits.
any of you remember some examples of when you wrote something that involved personification or read something?
Like the flowers danced in the breeze.
Very nice. Flowers don't actually dance, but that's a great image. I love the sound of that. We also have Piper Wise here, the media assistant who started all of this. Tell me, why did you want to start the Young Poets Society?
When I was in 5th grade, a long, long time ago, kids, I had a teacher that started a poetry group, and I was very shy, which no one believes these days, but it was a great way for me to express myself, and I loved words ever since. And talking with Mrs. Blockberger and Mrs. Burr about how fun that was, and then we just decided, wouldn't it be fun if we started one here? And we thought maybe we'd have a couple of kids, but we have 25 kids, and they're all very different from each other. So it's cool to see all different interest types and all different groups of kids coming together and learning about the power of words and taking that power for themselves, because these kids have a lot to say.
I was super impressed coming in early to school to read poetry and to write poetry. As a former language arts teacher, my heart skips a beat when I see this. It's really exciting. So you were pretty surprised at the turnout, it sounds like.
Yes, it's way bigger than we thought it would be, and we love it. It's the best part of the day when we have poetry first, when we have our Young Poets Society at the beginning of the day, because these kids are just so good and kind and smart and funny, and I don't think you guys realize how much we love it, and I'm glad that you guys do too.
I was impressed at how quickly students were connecting with the poetry, and I love that the discussions are structured in a way that pulls out their personal reaction to it. Have you been surprised by some of the reactions over time as you've met as young poets?
Yeah, and some of the stuff they write as well. I mean, working in the library, you get to know students because of what they read, but you can get even more knowledge about them and their souls and their hearts and their desires and their fears and their hopes, and by what they write. So it's really interesting how we can give one cue, one assignment, And then everybody's poems are so different. And we're learning all different types of poems so they can see, if I don't like this type, I can try this type. And there's no wrong poem. Nothing they write down is wrong. So that's really encouraging too. I think they're just free to write whatever they need to.
That's true. It is nice to start the day knowing you're going to be right no matter what.
Yes.
And with poetry, as you've described, you learn more about the world around you, learn more about other people, but you also learn more about yourself, and you test your own emotions and your own needs and interests. So, and that was evident. That was on display. It's really, really impressive to see this group.
They're a really good group.
How does it make you feel to know that you've inspired these students to love poetry the way they do?
It makes my heart 3 times bigger. I feel so proud of these kids, and I think they're wonderful. And it gives me hope for the future as someone looking backwards, as an adult looking backwards. I just think the world's going to be okay with these guys in charge because they have a lot figured out.
Did it take a little while for you to feel comfortable in the group sharing your emotional reaction to poetry?
Yeah.
So over time, as you get used to the group a little bit, is that a little bit easier?
Yeah.
Because you know these people aren't going to judge you over it.
How about expressing your emotions through poetry? Was that difficult at first, or is that something that came naturally?
I think it really just depends on the person.
Yeah. Because for me, it came a little bit more naturally because sometimes it's harder for me to display emotions other ways, so going through poetry is a fun and easy way. And when you come to like these, you gain new friends.
So there's a deeper connection with others, and that allows you to express yourself in ways that you might not have otherwise.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
work to make the library a safe place. This should be the most peaceful, safest place in the school, in my opinion. I'm biased, but that's okay.
I totally agree with you.
And so it makes me happy to know that kids can come in here and feel safe writing things also. So I like that too.
I love that. Thank you for everything that you're doing to make that possible.
You're welcome.
We're here now with Aaliyah and Bennett. Aaliyah, tell me what you love about this poetry group.
I love that everybody can just express their feelings without being shy, and the teachers are wonderful, and I just love doing poetry every other Wednesday, and it's just a great group, and I love the things we do together.
Did it take a little bit of time to warm up to feeling comfortable sharing those feelings?
I mean, it didn't take long because I know most of these people here. I mean, they're all great, and the teachers, Miss Burr was my 5th grade teacher, and Miss Wise and Miss Blockberger were our librarian teachers, so it didn't really take long for me, but yeah.
And have you gotten to know the other students in the group well over time as you've met as young poets?
I mean, yeah, we've sat together sometimes, and we've talked together. We've got to know each other a little bit, yeah.
How about for you, Bennett? What do you love about being here?
Because I like doing poetry and it's fun, and Miss Burr's my 5th grade teacher, and so it's pretty fun, and I just like it a ton.
So it's pretty fun, and I like it a ton. See, you just rhyme naturally. The poetry just flows from you, Bennett. Tell me, what is it that you like most? Is it reading or writing poetry?
I like writing the poetry.
Okay. What are some of the poems you've written? Tell me about them.
I wrote a shamrock. I wrote litter tree.
Sorry?
Litter tree.
A letter tree? Tell me about a letter tree.
It's where I'm pretty sure it's where so there's the first 2 lines rhyme, the first 2 words,
Okay.
or first 2 last words, and then the next 2 lines they rhyme, and then the last rhyme rhymes with the first 2 lines.
Oh, okay. Do you kind of like the structure where there are rules that you have to follow and make the imagery and make your words fit the rules?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. There are forms of poetry that I've really liked over the years where you have to use the same words kind of in different order and kind of move things around. How about you, Daphne? What have you loved about being in this group?
I love this group because I'm not much of a reader.
but the words just naturally flow in me. So I've always just been, I joined late in the year, so I just really enjoy this.
You like Shel Silverstein's invitation this morning?
It really gave like inviting you to like a warm fire and talking about like books and fantasy.
Any poems that are favorites for of yours, Aaliyah?
Ooh, I really love like the whole book of Where the Sidewalk Ends. I feel like that book just like has a bunch of good ones.
And sometimes there's a little surprise in the poem that I really like. Mm-hmm. What other poetry do you like?
I love poetry that's funny, but I also love poetry that makes that's quite literal and like not sad, but like it has like a true meaning that's deep in your heart. That's what I like.
I'm so impressed that you guys have delved into this. What do your parents think of the fact that you want to come early for a poetry group?
My mom, she likes it. She thinks it's pretty cool, and my dad thinks it too. Like they think it's like cool, and I think they think that it's good for my mind and soul.
I think it's a great way to start the day. How about you, Bennett?
I think they like it because I used to like not be involved in anything, and now I'm involved in a ton of things, and I really like. And I think my parents like it too.
I think it's fantastic. I'm really impressed with you and the whole group, and who knows, I may have to just stop by and start my day this way again because it's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Stay with us. When we come back, our young budding poets share some of their original works.
Hello, I'm Sandy Reescraft, Director of Communications for Jordan School District, and we want to invite you to connect with us. So many exciting things are happening in your child's school, your neighbor's school, in every school here every day. Don't miss out on following the fun or simply staying informed when there's important information we need to share. Join us at jordandistrict.org or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Jordan District. We can't wait to connect.
Do you have some poetry that you've written that you can read for me? Any of you?
That's why we brought our photos.
All right, sounds good. Shayla, how about let's start with you? Can you tell me, before you read it, can you tell me a little bit about this poem and what you were hoping to accomplish with it?
I just wanted to write a funny poem about leprechauns.
Okay, and who doesn't?
I know.
All right, so let's hear it.
They travel from town to town. They are green and wear a black crown. To be small is to be able to see all the people frown.
Very nice. I like it. They seem impish in this poem. Okay, let's hear yours.
Okay, this is an onomatopoeia poem.
Okay.
In a big winter city, I hear children play, yell, squeal, giggle, laugh, cry. In a big winter city, I hear people walking in the snow, crunch, crush, slush, splish, splash. In a big winter city, I hear a band play music, ooh, la, whistle, tap, ring.
So tell me, for those who are listening, what does onomatopoeia mean?
Just sounds that sound like what they mean.
Yeah, exactly. So can you let's go back through that and tell me some of the examples of words that sound like their meaning.
There was crunch.
Crunch. You can just hear the snow crunch.
Yeah. Splish splash. There was ooh and
All packaged neatly in a poem that flows really well and makes the most of those sounds. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one that you can read for us as well?
This is one of my first onomatopoeia poems.
Okay.
The bird in a forest, a little bird jumps step. In a forest, a little bird squawks, squawk. In a forest, a little bird flies, swoosh, swoosh. In a forest, a little bird lands on a tree, creak, creak. In a forest, a little branch goes crack, crack, crack. I liked it when you can use swoosh and crack because it really shows how the way it's moving.
It's great in the poem, even when you say swoosh and crack, you can really hear the meaning of the word. That's awesome. Do you guys notice words in a different way now that you've been reading poetry and writing it? Are there some words that kind of leap out at you as having a particularly interesting sound or interesting meaning? No?
I like hope.
Hope.
You
Tell
can-
me about the word hope.
Because it really shows, like, if something's sad, you can go read a poem with hope or something, like with the bird poem. That one, with the bird is hope. That one.
How long have you been reading and writing poetry for a while now? Was it before this year, or did you just start this year?
Before. I started writing them when around I was 9, because I was encouraged by one of my teachers at my old school to write a poem about basically anything. So one of my first poems was about fire, because that was when we were getting a lot of fires and smoke from the California and Oregon fires.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And do you remember feeling like that lit a spark for your poetry love?
Metaphorically and literally.
Oh, very well done. Thank you. Yes. And how about for you? When did you first start loving poetry?
It was last year. I just thought it sounded fun, so I decided to join Poet Society.
What does it mean to you that the adults in the building here are so willing to spend their time and create this experience for you?
Honestly, I think it's really nice of them, though, because a lot of us are actually really annoying sometimes, so to be fair.
Does the poetry make you less annoying?
Yeah, probably.
One more benefit of poetry.
I also think it helps to give them a break from the rest of our classes. That can sometimes be a bit of a handful.
So this is a good reward for them to get to spend some time talking about poetry.
It's also a good reward for me so I can get a break from them.
It's good for everybody. It's good for me. I actually feel energized getting to hear those discussions. We were going to hold this interview, and I just couldn't resist. I keep looking through the window like, hey, there's some other poems that I'm missing out there. How about for you? What do you think?
I just really like it.
It's great. That's the best endorsement you can give. What would you say to students who might hear this and think about starting one of their own, or other adults who might want to start this up at their elementary school?
I would say do it. It's worth your time. It's worth every second you spend extra working on things and working on lessons, because as you feel, the reward is giant, and it's a feeling is the reward, and it's really good.
So what would you say if someone's thinking about being part of something like this?
Just do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to come. But if you do, it's another thing that you get to love.
Well, thanks for spending time talking with me about your poetry, and most of all, thanks for spending time on poetry, sitting together, writing, reading, and just having this great experience that I'm sure you'll never forget.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Supercast. Remember, education is the most important thing you'll do today. We'll see you out there.